Hi, I'm John Hornick. Welcome to my Japanese Faves series where we'll cover every major type of Japanese food. Karaage is Japanese deep-fried food dredged in potato starch, cornstarch, or flour, sometimes seasoned. Everyone loves fried chicken, and the Japanese are no exception. This lesson is karaage chicken thighs, or Momo in Japanese. Here, you marinate the thigh pieces in Japanese flavorings, dredge them or toss them in potato starch, deep fry them, and then deep fry them again to crisp them up, and then serve them with two sauces. So let's start cooking. Okay, now we're going to cut our chicken thighs for the karaage, and we are using, we're starting with bone-in, skin-on thighs. Now I'm going to take the skin off, but I want the bone. Now if you can buy bone-in, skinless thighs, go right ahead and do it. But they're really hard to find. So what I do is I buy the thighs that have the bone in and the skin on. Then we're going to take the skin off. Now you could use boneless thighs, but if you do, the karaage is going to cook differently. It's going to cook a lot faster, and maybe that's what you'd like to do. But the bone adds flavor, okay, and moistness. So we're going to leave the bone in. Okay, we could do it without if we want. Now. What we're going to do now is we're going to score the thighs where we want to cut them. And the best way that I have found to cut through these bones is to use a pair of kitchen shears. First, we're going to score where we want to cut with the shears, okay? And we want to make sure that we have a piece of bone in each one of the slices so that we have that bone that will provide a heat sink, and it also makes the cooking happen slower, more flavorful, and moister. Okay, and we're just going to cut right through that bone, right where we scored the meat. All right. Then we're going to do that with each one of our chicken breasts. All right, now we're going to make the marinade for the chicken, and we're going to add the shoyu, which is Japanese soy sauce, the mirin, and the sake. The sake might look slightly yellowed. That's because I used the same measuring cup to measure out the shoyu and the mirin first, before I measured out the sake. We're going to add the Shio Koji. I have a separate lesson on making Shio Koji, Shoyu Koji, and Amazake. And then we're going to add the garlic. All right. And then we're going to mix that up. All right, now I've put all of the chicken into a Ziploc bag, and I've put it into the bag using my handy-dandy Jokari bag filler, which people who invented that should get the Nobel Prize in bag filling technology. Then we're going to add our marinade to the bag, okay? Make sure we got everything. I don't like to waste any. I don't like to lose any, okay? So, especially, I don't want to lose any of that garlic, okay? All right, then we're going to seal up the bag. I'm going to try to get as much air out of it as we can. Not because the air is bad, but just because it's easier to get it to marinate if there's less air in the bag. All right, try to squeeze out that air. And then we're going to just mix it around a little bit. All right, then I'm going to put it into a baking pan. Why? In case the bag leaks, okay? So we're gonna put that into the fridge for at least 8 hours, preferably overnight. And I'm gonna turn it every now and then so that the chicken, gets gets the marinade on it all around. Okay, so into the fridge for at least 8 hours. All right, now we're gonna mix our potato starch with the Shio Koji powder. And I have the amount that's written in the description here. And it probably will be enough for all the chicken that I have, but if it's not, we'll just mix up some more. So we just want to get it well mixed so that Shio Koji powder is well distributed within the potato starch. Nice thing about potato starch too, by the way, if you're not aware, is that it is gluten-free. One of our guests tonight is gluten-free, so it's doubly good because it's good for this dish, good for karaage, and it's also gluten-free. Okay, now we're going to heat our oil, and the description says to use at least 1 quart of oil. I'm using closer to 3 quarts. The more oil you have, the easier it's going to be to control your temperature. So what we're going to do is turn the heat on, and then we're going to watch the heat closely as it heats up. We want to get it up to 350 degrees, but we don't want it to shoot past that, okay? So as we're around 300, we're going to regulate the heat a little bit so that it goes up slowly and we can kind of get it to stabilize around 350. All right, now I'm only going to do a couple of the pieces of the chicken for the camera, and what we're going to do now is pat them dry. If they're all, you take them out of the marinade, right, and we want to just pat off any excess moisture. Okay, they don't need to be dry. We just don't want them to be dripping. Okay. Okay, now we want to dredge them in our mixture of potato starch and Shio Koji. And just want to get them well coated. Shake off the extra. There we go, nicely coated with potato starch and Shio Koji. Okay, our oil is up to temperature, so we're going to put the chicken into the oil, and you should cook them in batches, right? Maybe depends on how much oil you have, but small enough batches that the temperature maintains at 350. And we're going to cook these for about 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, the chicken's been in the oil for about 6 minutes. They are getting beautifully golden, okay? Now we're going to take them out, and we're going to drain them and let them rest on a rack for about 10 minutes. All right, now the chicken's been resting about, I'd say about 7 minutes. There's no magic number of how long it has to rest. I'm letting it rest basically between the batches that I'm making. So when you do the first fry, you take them out, you let them rest while you do the next batch. After you've done all of them, you finished your batches, then we're going to do a second fry for about 30 to 60 seconds. And so we're putting them back into the oil now for about 30 to 60 seconds. Okay, let's take them out. Look beautiful. All right, now we're immediately going to salt them. Okay, here are chicken pieces. We're going to sprinkle them with some sea salt. We want to do that while they're still hot because the salt will adhere better if they're still hot, okay? We're going to also sprinkle with a little bit of togarashi, all right? And then we're going to plate up. Now you're going to plate up in various ways. You can just put them on a piece of tempura paper. You can put them on some kind of a base. I'm going to put them on some arugula, and I'm going to serve them with a wedge of lemon and also with some tempura dipping sauce and also a little bit of mustard for each guest. So you can see photos of the final dish at my Instagram, which is @Chef's Apprentice, Cook Like a Pro. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.